World 3 for good. We'll be traveling to the Fool's Idol Archstone, but let's read the description for the old monks first. His revenge complete, the old man withered away, possessed by golden robes of insanity. Too weak to be a demon's vessel, his soul was eaten. I guess that explains where his body went. It must have happened as we were walking up the stairs. Makes sense. Our first destination is where we interrupted the chanting of the Dreglings and broke the first chain of the Latrian heart. During pure white world tendency, astoundingly, a bridge has been placed in the gap between the two paths, allowing us to access the very tippy top of this tower. As we ascend the stairs here, you can very clearly see that spider web in the sky from before, and that they are, in fact, chains. Nothing is up here but a new Prison of Hope key. Wasn't expecting that. It says it's for a western cell on the second floor. I wonder where it leads, and why it's so important. Hello, Rydell. I've come to rescue you, so thank me.
Oh, why, thank you. Thank you, kind soul. Please, take this fine piece of work. Besides, I have no use for it now. And thus begins my final, eternal rest.
Rydell doesn't have anything else to say, but I'm glad we were able to help him in his final hours. The second change upon reaching White World tendency is that the rubble that was right over here is gone completely, allowing us to check out the cells that lay beyond where it once was. In the first cell are 2 soul items and a shard of moonlight stone. In the third cell is the 3-cornered hat, which is a wonderful piece of head armor that completes the female-only ragged armor set we found in the very first level of the first world all that time ago. In the 5th cell, we gain a copy of the armor of Sage Frake himself, which we're totally going to equip because it's pretty neat, especially the chest piece. It's also exclusive to White World tendency, so why wouldn't we rep it? Next up on our World Tendency World Tour is that dead end in this area past the Ball of Bodies, which is called a Prisoner Horde, by the way. The locked gate from before is now able to be opened, and as tempted as I am to loot everything first, there are a few enemies here that we should dispatch first. Since we're already on the other side, might as well start here. On this corpse is a legendary hero's soul. This person must have been quite accomplished in life. Rest in peace, Rydell. I didn't show it off, but the item description for the Clever Rat's Ring says that Rydell was known as Little Elant. In Black World tendency, you can kill a hostile Black Phantom version of Lord Rydell to obtain his weapon, the Phosphorescent Pole. Its item description says that one of Lord Rydell's most storied exploits is his theft of this weapon from the Witch in the Sky. It seems that the man definitely had a storied past. It's a shame that he isn't more of a mainstay in the game, like, say, Ostrava. Here we obtain the parrying dagger and the female-exclusive rogue armor set. This set is now complete thanks to our gold mask from the second level of Latria, meaning that it must have been the uniform for that secretive society that studies the soul arts. There's an NPC questline that involves a woman who wears that armor, but it has to do with Yurt and the killing of helpful NPCs, so I recommend looking that up separately if you're interested, because sadly, you won't be seeing it here. Back in the Nexus, let's deposit all of the good stuff we picked up during our time in Latria. World 4 is calling our name, but I realized that I hadn't really shown off the Archstone of the Land of the Giants, which is the only Archstone that we're unable to traverse. I remember expecting it to be released as expansion DLC way back when. Anyway, let's read about the island shrine of the Shadow Men, who worship storms and mourn the dead. Here, the storm beasts fly above, and the souls of the dead inhabit empty skeletons to move about freely. Not the most inviting of Archstone descriptions, I grant you, but we gotta do what we gotta do. As with Worlds 1, 2, and 3, a completely new atmosphere awaits us as soon as we take our first gander at World 4. Foggy and opposing, this crumbling solitary wall stands as tall and proud as it can. Here's a fun little fact. This open circular area was the de facto PvP hotspot. People would place their red summon signs down in hopes of getting summoned to duel it out with a host. Skeletons can be a huge pain in the ass. They deal tons of damage and move at a faster rate than you can run, but luckily they're pretty weak to the Crescent Falchion, and we have a 100% physical blocking heater shield. Soul remains, which you can throw in order to distract enemies. A neat item, but not one we'll be using. Originally below these two archers, there was a fog door blocking off that passageway. I already cleared it, however, in my initial visit here to pick up the lovely weapon that we've been using this whole playthrough. On the bodies here, we'll be getting a Soldier's Lotus, which cures bleed, and the Talisman of God, which can be used to cast miracles. Don't worry about the arrow in my shoulder, 'tis merely a flesh wound. Through this archway's Vanguard, the very same enemy from the tutorial, moveset and all. In this area, he's simply a regular enemy and skippable, should we wish not to tackle him again. This red-eyed, dual-wielding katana skeleton was guarding the Crescent Falchion, which was on the body behind him. Naturally, I just spammed dodge roll, picked it up, and ran like hell when I acquired it after we unlocked all the Archstones. Instead of progressing through the courtyard, I'd like to explore the upper part of this fort wall and give those pesky archers what they deserve. there's always another archer. This flying creature here that I'm going to waste MP trying to attack is a storm beast, which the Archstone description mentioned, if you recall. Down here is a copper key and a very obvious trap that I will trigger and then skillfully dodge in order to show it to you. From Software loved putting these skeletons in every nook and cranny they could find. There are a lot of narrow passageways filled with large enemies in this world. It can be pretty brutal. After taking this cliffside ridge, we'll meet a rather interesting new friend.
You, scary, give Sparkly me. Give Twinkly me. Me. You, trade, give me Sparkly, Twinkly.
This is Sparkly the Crow, and she loves sparkly and twinkly things. So much so, in fact, that she's willing to trade items with you to increase her sparkly, twinkly collection. And we're going to do just that by giving her an Augite of Guidance, which is definitely both of those things.
Sparkly, happy.
Once she gives you the happy and all-clear message, in order to continue with the transaction, you have to quit the game and then reload your save. Once you're back in, take a peek behind the roots at the base of her nest to find your item.
You, scary, sparkly, happy. More trade? More trade? Give me sparkly, twinkly, please. Give.
White arrows are hardly helpful, but I was glad to show off this rather memorable system. Hey, that was nice of the crystal lizard to wait for us like that. Dark Moonstone is what we've been waiting to receive. This ore is exclusive to Demon Soul's fourth world, and it's used to upgrade crescent weapons. Hot diggity. Also, this was an illusory wall. The game very seldom has them, and they're the most obvious things in the world. They visibly ripple and have a pulsing sound effect. I was pretty lucky here that the other skeleton got stuck continually rolling into the wall. As I said, every nook and cranny. This is another illusory wall that serves as a bit of a shortcut to later in the level, but let's check the other way first. Also, Crescent Moongrass. Seriously, FromSoft.
Phew, you saved me. Heavens, I can't believe I fell for that trap. I suppose I owe you now. I'm grave robber Blige. As thanks, I can provide you with useful goods. Who couldn't do with a little help down in these parts?
Grave robber Blige is, as far as appearances are concerned, very Patches-esque. The most noteworthy thing he sells is the leather armor, which he's currently wearing. As we worked hard to earn our current threads, we'll just ignore his store.
This shrine was used in a ghastly ritual by an ancient tribe. They've long perished, and now demons have put the souls to work. At least here you're killing things that are already dead, like skeletons and shadow lurkers. That's what I like about this place. Better than killing those poor, soul-starved humans, right? Better than killing those poor, soul-starved humans, right? Nothing suits your fancy? Well, don't be too frugal. A bit of indulgence goes a long way.
I'll have to keep that in mind, Blige. Thanks for watching. See you next time.